lesson 14 on Objective 2.1. This is about how UK business environment affects retailers, and this time we're looking at social factors. So as usual, when you see Ethel, this time in the blue cardigans, when you spot the blue cardigan, click for help. So here are the learning steps for lesson 14 on social factors. First of all, we need to know what demographics is and what it measures. We need to know what data actually depicts the social change and the demographics that we are measuring, and then we need to be able to explain why retailers need to understand how their target market, their customers, needs and wants actually change, which is the social change that we're investigating. The key vocabulary for this lesson is ethical, demographic, social change and energy efficient. Now, ethical is talking about the way you make your decisions, whether it's socially acceptable, but it's ethical. Demographic is the term we're going to investigate for the whole of the lesson, and looking at social change, how things change over time, how people's needs and wants change. And energy efficient is a good example of how social factors have changed the way we buy products. You'll know you've completed the lesson successfully when you can state what demographics mean, that you can describe different types of data used to measure demographic changes, and you can explain how and why social change impacts on retailers. The careers at the bottom are data related, because this is what we're dealing with today. We've got data analyst, data engineer and customer insights analyst for you to have a look into. Here's your work list for lesson 14 on social factors. You've got 5 tasks. You've got some stats to find out between 1940 and 2005, some demographics you need to investigate, ethical definition, that's the word, energy efficiency, definitions and products, and a social change. So 4 and 5 actually go hand in hand, and question 5 is where you're going to write an exam level question. Social factors. Retailers must be aware of the ever-changing social factors. These include fashion, taste and population trends. Social factors also affect lifestyle and include religion, age, changing family structures and wealth. These factors can change over a period of time, and so retailers need to be aware of these changes to sell products and services that consumers want. Demographic change. Demographics measure the change in structure of the population. The first important factor is the overall size of the population. This is of interest to retail business since, in general terms, if the population increases, the size of their market will increase and they will be able to sell more goods. In the UK, we have an ageing population, which is driving changes for many retailers. The baby boomers, people who were born in the late 1940s, 50s and 60s, are now entering or moving towards retirement. These people are generally a well-off section of the population, the majority with their own homes and many with higher than average disposable income, which can be used for expensive and luxury products such as holidays, conservatories, new cars and so forth. Changing Britain. Demographic factors are concerned with the size, location and distribution of the population. The structure of the UK population is constantly changing, and there are a number of demographics that can affect a retail business. For example, population size, whether it's growing or declining, immigration and emigration, that's people leaving or arriving in the country for work reasons, age distribution, so where there's more of one particular age bracket across the working population or the whole population. Birth rate, obviously, the older population, how many non-workers there are in the older people. Households, whether they're smaller families, single parent families or working families. Ethnic minority groups, and income, whether it's increasing or decreasing. Demographic change in the UK is not just about an ageing population. Migration, people moving to the UK from other countries, and UK people moving to other countries, is also a major part of the change in UK population structure. So here's a couple of questions to get you going understanding the change in Britain. Find out what the UK population size was in 1940, and as a comparison find out what the UK population size was in 2005. That's the left hand side. On the right, What was the UK average salary in 1940? Now that will actually be in a different currency. That'll be in pounds, shillings and pence. You'll need to convert that to pounds and pence, and you possibly might need to get it as a convert it into what makes sense into terms of today's salary, maybe a percentage of it. See what you can find out. And then you find out the UK average salary in 2005. And then with those four figures you've got, we can look at a comparison. Demographics. Knowing who your customers are is important to any retailer. It is important to retailers because they need to target their advertising, their promotions and their visual displays to optimize sales opportunities. Demographics can be used by retailers to see the trends in what products are popular with consumers to make sure they are selling the right products to the right people. Your task is to complete the 4 questions in the table. Question 1. Explain what is meant by the term demographics. Well, if you flip back the last 2 pages, we've got the definition and some examples of what is used for demographics, because it's the way we measure the UK population and the changing part of UK population. But that's why we have demographics. That's not what it is. So you need to look at, and probably where the bullet points are, in terms of what it is that you're measuring to see how many there are, which helps you understand the profile of the UK population. Question 2. Describe how the demographics of the UK has changed in the last 20 years. Well, you've got some figures comparing 1940 with 2005, so you might need to actually dig around and find some more and look at what's happened in terms of maybe 2 or 3 of the demographics of maybe the age, the income, size of family, and or have a look at whichever ones you like, or immigration, emigration, and look at the different rates of it over the last 20 years, and that will give you an indication of the changes. And I've got to say, in case you can't work out when 20 years ago was, then it's 2021, so we're talking about the year 2000. Okay, you can do 2001, but there we go, roundabout. Question 3. Using the internet, find a chart or a graph that illustrates the change in the UK population. So this will be graphical information which actually shows you what's happened with the demographic change. So you're probably going to need to look for a few of the elements from the last page, or see what you can find out in terms of comparisons between 20, 40 years ago and today. And then that graph can go into the blue answer for question 3. Question 4. Explain why it is important for retailers to be aware of the change in demographics. Again, this is making sure that we know why we look into demographics and how it's used. We've got the answer on this slide and on the last 2 pages as well, so that one's not going to be a giveaway. Social change. Social factors also include lifestyle changes of the population. Over time, people change the way in which they think and live their lives, and this can have an impact on retail businesses. These lifestyle changes include the following. Have a look at the table below. Society is becoming more health conscious. Fitness is another sustained lifestyle change. This does not just impact on the demand for gyms, but also related goods such as low fat, low sugar, vegan and organic foods. Family structure has changed with both parents working full-time. Supermarkets and other retailers focus on convenience, time-saving meals, home delivery and click and collect. Many consumers use digital media to look for products and to purchase goods. Teenagers and people in their 20s mostly use smartphones and tablets to watch entertainment and to buy online. Marketing and selling to these shoppers must be focused on this media, not just traditional methods such as TV adverts and newspapers. Social change also includes fashion changes. Consumers are now happy to pay £3 for a coffee as long as it has the right brand on the takeaway cup. A retailer has to make sure it keeps up with changes in fashion. Changes in consumers' attitude towards the environment have changed the way many consumers shop. Electrical goods need to be energy efficient. When consumers are purchasing cars, the focus can be as much on emissions and fuel efficiency as on performance. Packaging is important. Consumers do not like retail businesses who sell products that use plastic or unnecessary packaging. Consumers are also concerned about ethics, and the retailer has to make sure it acts in an ethical way, otherwise it can obtain bad publicity and shoppers will stop buying from them. Let's find out what ethical means. So, a quick definition, look up the word and in your own words write the answer to what it means in the box at the bottom. Energy efficiency. You may have seen the energy efficiency image below on many products. That's the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the green to the red symbols below on the left. Find out what it means. Give examples of product it's used on. Your job then, you need to fill in the arrows on the right. You need to find out what they're talking about with 92 to 100. What does A mean? B, 81 to 91, what does B mean? And so forth, all the way down to 1 to 20. What are they talking about? And see if you can find an image of a product for each type of energy efficiency we're talking about. And copy and paste them into the small thumbnails that are around the edge on the right. You only need a thumbnail, so don't worry about getting something more than that, and see what you can find. Social change on energy efficient products. Now you know what each energy rating means and you have an example of products for each, you can copy and paste them from the last page onto the thumbnails here if you want to. You need to write your answer on the right. You need to explain the effect that this energy efficiency rating is on electrical goods. Explain the effect it has had on what consumers want to buy now. So you've got an idea of all the meaning. You've got an idea of some products. You need to write about what's changed. So you need to write along the words of customers want to buy this product because, and then when you talk about this product, you can talk about perhaps product A. You can then talk about consumers are avoiding buying that product, maybe product G, obviously you're giving the name, and you put in because. So you're writing a comparison, 2 paragraphs in the space on the right. Well done, you've completed the work list for lesson 14 on social factors. You completed all 5 questions and commented on the social change around energy efficient products. Ta-da! Well done, we're finished.